Born on July 23, 1892, in the ancient kingdom of Shewa, Ethiopia, Haile Selassie I rose from humble beginnings to become one of the most influential leaders of the 20th century. A man of immense courage, resolve, and unwavering conviction, Selassie's life and reign exemplify the true essence of the Spartan mindset: defiance in the face of overwhelming adversity, a relentless commitment to the preservation of his people, and an unshakable belief in his duty to his nation. Selassie's journey to the throne was not an easy one. In 1916, at the young age of 24, he ascended to the throne of Ethiopia as emperor. But it wasn't the birthright of a royal prince that guaranteed his position. Rather, it was his intelligence, his vision, and his determination. From the moment he took the throne, Selassie was faced with the challenge of modernizing Ethiopia while keeping its deeply rooted traditions intact. His early years were marked by an astute awareness of the dangers facing Ethiopia on the global stage, particularly from colonial powers. The looming shadow of European imperialism and fascism made it clear that Ethiopia needed to fortify itself, not just militarily, but in the international arena as well. His greatest trial would come in the 1930s, when Mussolini's Italy began its aggressive campaign to conquer the Horn of Africa. In 1935, Italy, under the fascist leadership of Benito Mussolini, invaded Ethiopia in a brutal assault that tested Selassie's resolve and determination. Outnumbered and outgunned, Selassie fought tooth and nail to defend his nation, symbolizing the defiance of the oppressed against the powerful forces of colonialism. The League of Nations, which had been established to prevent such aggression, failed to take meaningful action, leaving Ethiopia to fight alone. It was during this time that Haile Selassie displayed the quintessential Spartan trait, an unyielding will to fight for his people, no matter the odds. In an emotional and powerful speech to the League of Nations in 1936, Selassie famously declared, "It is us today. It will be you tomorrow." He called on the world to stand against the rising tide of fascism and imperialism, but his appeals fell on deaf ears. The Italian forces, equipped with chemical weapons and overwhelming firepower, decimated Ethiopian resistance. In 1937, Selassie fled into exile in Britain, leaving behind a nation in ruins. But Selassie's story didn't end in exile. He never gave up on Ethiopia. His Spartan resilience shone through, as he continued to advocate for his country's sovereignty and its rightful place in the world. He maintained communication with the international community, and in 1941, when the Allied forces defeated Mussolini's fascists in North Africa, Selassie was able to return to Ethiopia, reclaiming his throne and restoring Ethiopian independence. His return was not just a political victory. It was a triumph of the human spirit, an embodiment of the Spartan belief in fighting for a cause greater than oneself. However, Selassie's challenges were far from over. Despite his resilience and success on the battlefield, he found himself constantly navigating the pressures of both internal and external forces. Throughout his reign, he faced opposition from both the aristocracy and Marxist factions within Ethiopia. He worked tirelessly to modernize Ethiopia, building infrastructure, creating educational reforms, and establishing the first constitution of Ethiopia in 1955. Yet, for all his achievements, Selassie's reign was tainted by his inability to entirely quell the growing dissatisfaction among the Ethiopian populace, who felt that his reforms were too slow and ineffective in addressing their economic and social hardships. As the 1970s approached, Ethiopia found itself in a period of immense political instability. The country was grappling with the growing tide of revolutionary movements, and in 1974, a Marxist-led coup d'etat overthrew Haile Selassie's government. He was placed under house arrest and later died under mysterious circumstances on August 27, 1975. Some reports claimed he died of natural causes, while others suggested foul play. What remained undisputed was the profound and tragic irony of Selassie's death. This emperor, who had spent his life fighting to protect his nation and its people, met his end under circumstances far beneath his dignity. But like all true Spartans, Haile Selassie's legacy could not be erased. Despite the attempts to erase his memory, his name has continued to resonate with millions of people around the world. To many, especially within the Rastafarian movement, Selassie was more than a political figure. He was a symbol of strength, dignity, and resistance against oppression. For the Rastafarians, Selassie represented the embodiment of the Lion of Judah, a divine figure who would lead them to freedom. However, Selassie himself famously rejected these divine claims, refusing to accept the divine status thrust upon him, even as his followers revered him as the Messiah. His stance against being treated as a god was a reflection of his Spartan character, grounded, humble, and steadfast in his principles. He understood that true power came not from divine adulation, but from the responsibility to lead with integrity, honor, and resilience. Even in the face of the greatest adversity, Haile Selassie remained true to his vision for Ethiopia and its people, never succumbing to the pressures of fame or divine worship. Haile Selassie's life and legacy serve as a testament to the power of the Spartan mindset. He was a leader who fought against insurmountable odds, stood up to the forces of colonialism and fascism, and remained resolute in his principles, regardless of the personal cost. Even in his darkest hour, when the coup overthrew him and stripped him of his power, Haile Selassie stood as a symbol of defiance, resilience, and the unwavering spirit of a Spartan warrior. Order the Spartan mindset today and embark on your journey toward becoming the leader your world needs. Let your struggles forge you into a warrior of character and resolve. The Spartan Mindset provides a comprehensive and actionable guide to personal development and resilience. Available now for just $19.99. Purchase your copy from the links in the description box below and on this channel's homepage. Because your future begins with the right mindset. The Spartan Mindset.